Hello everyone, I am here to tell you about a boy who fell down 7 times but got back up each time he fell. He became a legend because of it. Have you ever tried something so hard that you just wanted to quit? You failed once, twice, 3 times, and each time you tried again, you felt like giving up more and more until finally you gave in. I've been there before. There were many times when I wanted to quit what I was doing. But if I had quit, I wouldn't be standing here today talking to all of you. You see, we live in a world where we are constantly surrounded by people who have never fallen. They seem to make the right decisions every time. They always know the answers. They seem to win at everything they do. It can make us feel inferior and it can make us wonder if we will ever succeed. But remember, success is not final and failure is not fatal. Only when we give up, it's fatal. The legend I am going to tell you about today is the story of a man who never gave up. He fell down 7 times, but he got back up each time he fell and eventually he became a legend. His name was Kumagai and he was a samurai. Now, you might be wondering why I chose to tell you this legend today. Well, it's because I want you to remember that no matter how many times you fall, as long as you get back up each time you fall, you can become a legend. There was a great battle between the samurai and their enemies, and the samurai seemed to be winning the battle easily. That is until the enemy's general came out. This general was a legendary warrior, and the samurai were having trouble against him. No matter how hard they fought, they couldn't defeat him. The samurai called for backup, and one young samurai named Kumagai was chosen to go to the rescue. When Kumagai arrived at the battlefield, he saw that his fellow samurai were struggling to fight off the enemy general. So without hesitation, he jumped into the fight. Kumagai was a brave and skilled fighter, and he was able to hold his own against the enemy general. But as the battle raged on, he began to feel like he was losing strength. The enemy general was just too powerful, and Kumagai knew that if he didn't do something quickly, he would lose. In a last-ditch effort to defeat the enemy general, Kumagai charged at him with all his might. But just as he was about to strike a fatal blow, he was struck down. The enemy general's sword had caught him off guard and now he lay on the ground defeated. Kumagai had lost the battle. He had failed his mission. As he lay on the ground, he could hear the cheers of the enemy soldiers. They had won the day and it seemed that all hope was lost. But then something strange happened. One of the enemy soldiers approached Kumagai and offered him a hand. "Get up," he said. "I am impressed by your bravery." Kumagai hesitated for a moment, but he knew that he had nothing to lose. So he took the enemy soldier's hand and pulled himself up. "Why did you help me?" Kumagai asked. "You could have ended my life right then and there," the enemy soldier smiled, "because I respect your bravery. You fought with honor and I am impressed." The enemy general approached them and spoke to Kumagai. "You are a skilled warrior and I have a proposition for you. Come with me and serve under my banner. Together, we will conquer the land." Kumagai considered the offer. He had nothing to lose. And if he accepted, he would have the chance to fight alongside one of the greatest warriors in the land. Plus, he was tired of fighting for a king who seemed to care little for his soldiers. "Very well," he said, "I accept your offer." The enemy general smiled. "I knew you would come to your senses. Together, we will be unstoppable." Kumagai served under the enemy general for several years. During that time, they conquered much of the land, and Kumagai became one of the general's most trusted advisors. However, after several years, Kumagai began to feel a sense of unease. He realized that the enemy general was not a good person. He was cruel and tyrannical, and he ruled over his people with an iron fist. Kumagai knew he had to do something. He could not bear to watch as innocent people were killed and tortured any longer, so he began to plot against the enemy general. He gathered together some of the most influential members of the general's court and told them of his plan. They were willing to help him, and soon a rebellion was underway. The rebellion was a success. The enemy general was overthrown, and Kumagai's old king was restored to power. Kumagai had saved his country, But he was not seen as a hero, he was seen as a traitor. The people of his country hated him for serving the enemy. They accused him of cowardice and treachery. Kumagai felt alone and betrayed. He had risked everything and failed. But then something unexpected happened. The king saw the truth. He saw that Kumagai had saved his country and that he had done it out of love for his people. The king approached Kumagai and thanked him for his service. "You have saved our country," he said. "You are a true hero." The king then ordered that Kumagai be given a noble title and a large sum of money. From that day forward, Kumagai was seen as a hero. The people of his country celebrated him, the man who had saved them from tyranny. As you can see, Kumagai's story is not a typical hero's journey. He was not perfect, he made mistakes, and he even betrayed his own country. But he never gave up. He kept trying to do what was right, and in the end, he was rewarded for it. Sometimes in life, we have to make difficult choices. Sometimes we have to do things that are uncomfortable or go against what we believe in. But if we never give up, if we keep trying to do what is right, we will eventually be rewarded. Now, I want you to think about your own life. Have you ever had to make a difficult choice? Have you ever had to do something that was uncomfortable or go against what you believed in? If so, I want you to remember the story of Kumagai. Don't give up. Keep trying to do what is right and you will eventually be rewarded. Some people might say that this legend has a happy ending, but I don't think so. Sure, in the end, Kumagai was rewarded, but he had to suffer through years of betrayal and hatred to get there. But maybe that's the point. Maybe we can't always choose when and how we will succeed, but as long as we keep trying, we will eventually get there. We live in a world where we are constantly surrounded by people who have never fallen. They seem to make the right decisions every time. They always know the answers. They seem to win at everything they do. But success is not final and failure is not fatal. Only when we give up is it fatal. So remember, no matter how many times you fall, as long as you get back up each time you fall, you can become a legend. Thank you for listening. See you next time.